The play Hamlet was written by William Shakespeare in the early 1600s. It is one of his most famous works and is still performed and studied all over the world. The story takes place in Denmark and follows the life of Prince Hamlet, who struggles with grief, revenge, and the meaning of life. The play is set against the backdrop of a kingdom in turmoil, where power and betrayal shape the fate of its people. At the time Shakespeare wrote Hamlet, England was undergoing significant changes, including shifts in political power, religious conflicts, and philosophical debates about human nature and morality. These themes are reflected in the play, making it deeply relevant to audiences both then and now. The play begins on a cold, misty night outside Elsinore Castle, where guards have seen the ghost of the recently deceased King Hamlet. They are frightened by the ghost's appearance and decide to tell Prince Hamlet. Hamlet, still mourning his father's sudden death, is troubled by the fact that his mother, Queen Gertrude, has married his uncle Claudius just a short time after the king's passing. This marriage disturbs Hamlet deeply, making him feel that something is not right in Denmark. His famous line, "Frailty, thy name is woman," reflects his disappointment in his mother's quick remarriage. He feels betrayed by her actions and begins to question the loyalty of those around him. When Hamlet meets the ghost, he is horrified to learn that his father did not die of natural causes but was murdered. The ghost reveals that Claudius, the king's own brother, poisoned him while he was sleeping in the garden. This revelation fills Hamlet with anger and despair. The ghost asks Hamlet to seek revenge, but also warns him not to harm his mother. Hamlet is torn between his duty to his father and his own doubts. He fears that the ghost might be a trick played by the devil to lead him into sin. To find out the truth, Hamlet decides to pretend to be mad, hoping to observe the reactions of those around him. His erratic behavior confuses the people at court, particularly Ophelia, Polonius's daughter, who has had a romantic relationship with Hamlet. She is caught between her love for Hamlet and her duty to her father, who warns her to stay away from the prince. As Hamlet begins acting strangely, Claudius and Gertrude grow worried. Claudius, who is suspicious of Hamlet, sends two of his old friends, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, to spy on him. Meanwhile, Hamlet's relationship with Ophelia becomes strained. Ophelia is confused by Hamlet's erratic behavior and wonders if he has lost his love for her. Polonius believes that Hamlet's madness is caused by his love for Ophelia, and he suggests this theory to the king and queen. However, Hamlet's strange behavior is more than just love sickness. It is his way of dealing with the overwhelming emotions he feels about his father's death and his mother's betrayal. A turning point comes when a group of traveling actors arrives at Elsinore. Hamlet comes up with a plan to expose Claudius. He asks the actors to perform a play that mirrors the way his father was killed. He believes that if Claudius is guilty, he will react when he sees the scene on stage. As expected, when the murder scene is performed, Claudius stands up in shock and leaves the room. This reaction convinces Hamlet that the ghost was telling the truth. He now knows for certain that Claudius is guilty, but he still struggles with the idea of taking revenge. This hesitation reveals Hamlet's inner conflict. He is thoughtful and philosophical, not quick to act like a traditional hero. His famous soliloquy, "To be or not to be," shows his deep contemplation about life, death, and whether taking revenge is truly the right path. Later, Hamlet finds Claudius alone, praying. He considers killing him at that moment, but hesitates. He reasons that if he kills Claudius while he is praying, his soul might go to heaven. Hamlet decides to wait for a better opportunity. Shortly after, he goes to confront his mother. During their conversation, Hamlet hears someone hiding behind a curtain. Thinking it is Claudius, he stabs through the fabric, only to discover that he has killed Polonius instead. This accidental murder marks a turning point in the play. Ophelia, devastated by her father's death, falls into madness. She wanders the castle, singing strange songs and behaving erratically. Eventually, she drowns in a river, and many believe that she took her own life. Claudius realizes that Hamlet is becoming too dangerous. He decides to send him to England, supposedly for his safety, but in reality, he arranges for Hamlet to be killed upon arrival. However, Hamlet outsmarts Claudius's plan. During the journey, he discovers the plot and manages to escape, returning to Denmark. Meanwhile, Ophelia's brother, Laertes, returns from France and is furious about his father's and sister's deaths. Claudius manipulates Laertes, turning his anger against Hamlet. He convinces Laertes to challenge Hamlet to a duel, secretly plotting Hamlet's death by poisoning the tip of Laertes' sword. Additionally, Claudius prepares a poisoned drink in case the sword does not work. The duel takes place in the royal court, with many watching. At first, Hamlet and Laertes exchange blows in what seems like a fair fight. However, Laertes soon wounds Hamlet with the poisoned sword. In the chaos, the two accidentally switch swords, and Hamlet wounds Laertes in return. Meanwhile, Gertrude, unaware of the poison, drinks the poisoned wine that was meant for Hamlet. She collapses and dies, warning Hamlet that she has been poisoned. Laertes, realizing he has been used by Claudius, confesses everything to Hamlet. Enraged, Hamlet finally takes action and kills Claudius, forcing him to drink the same poisoned wine he had prepared for Hamlet. As Hamlet lies dying, he reflects on the meaning of life and death. He tells his friend Horatio to stay alive and tell the true story. Just before he dies, he names Fortinbras, a prince from a neighboring country, as the next ruler of Denmark. Moments later, Fortinbras arrives to find almost everyone dead. Horatio explains what has happened, and Fortinbras takes control of the kingdom. The play ends in tragedy, showing how revenge and ambition have destroyed an entire family and kingdom. Hamlet is one of the most important plays ever written. It explores deep ideas about life, death, revenge, and the human mind. The character of Hamlet is complex and relatable. He is not a simple hero, but a man full of doubts and emotions. Many people connect with Hamlet's emotions because he experiences real human pain and uncertainty. The play also highlights the dangers of power, corruption, and the consequences of revenge. Even after hundreds of years, Hamlet remains a powerful and thought-provoking story that continues to be studied and performed around the world.